Welcome and thank you for viewing this recording. I know you have many opportunities of workshops and presentations to view today, and I am very grateful that you chose this one. Today I'm going to share with you the idea of using feedback as academic caring. Feedback in and of itself often has a negative connotation. I know there was a time in my life where I thought of feedback as equivalent to failure, and being left to work on my own as caring. However, the farther I have come in my life journey, I have realized that feedback given from a place of caring is so much more effective than leaving someone alone on their current path, especially if you see that that path is going in a slightly wonky direction away from the objective. The challenge in this is that some of our students feel the same way I used to feel. From something that has happened in their lives, feedback became equivalent to failure. My hope today is to walk with you through how we can support students through feedback from a place of caring. The pillar we are working from today will be student-centered. While this presentation can align with the other 4 pillars, I want to spend time focusing on how we can see feedback as an academic bid for a caring personal learning environment through which to provide feedback that is student-centered. To situate us within a framework through which to visualize this information, it is helpful to think of transactional distance as a core concept. As online instructors, especially, there is a distance between us and our students. This virtual and real distance can be overcome through understanding andragogy and how we can use pedagogy to build hudagogy. In other words, by understanding our adult population, we can use teaching strategies through feedback to increase our students' self-directedness and self-efficacy with learning. And we can use feedback as one way to narrow that transactional distance. This leads us into our discussion today while keeping in mind that while we will return to this framework a few times. First, we're going to discuss the concept of academic bids. Then we'll move into academic bids within a pedagogy of caring, looking at our students through a context that creates a personal learning environment. Then we're going to work on looking at feedback that incorporates a pedagogy of care, that incorporates academic bids within a context of creating personal learning environments. First of all, I want you to reflect a moment. Imagine you've opened your email and you see a list of student names, and in these emails are requests for late work extensions, a student saying they've lost track of time, someone who's angry about a grade, or maybe someone experiencing a death in the family. I can feel your tension through the virtual asynchronous distance. Our students reach out to us often about a variety of challenges in their lives. However, we can begin to think of these as academic bids. Before talking about academic bids, though, let's review what a bid is. The Gottman Institute, which studies relationships between romantic and platonic partners, characterizes a bid as a nuanced behavior that seeks attention or care within a relationship. So the emails, texts, and phone calls from students can certainly fall into the category of nuanced behaviors that seek care or attention. However, this is all done within a framework. This is all done within an academic setting, hence academic bids. Seeing students' frustrations or sharing about their personal lives are academic bids that can help us reframe their nuanced behaviors into bids that strongly tie us to a culture of care. It is possible to embrace the idea of academic bids within a pedagogy of care. Pedagogical caring assumes that an instructor creates an environment that builds value for students and their education. Pedagogical caring includes the idea of relational pedagogy, which is a set of intentional and purposeful actions that builds positive relationships with students to support building capacity through emotional and cognitive means. Students entering the university want to have those caring and productive relationships. The current generation of students desires open, supportive, and practical academic environments that will help them realize their career goals. This creates the need for faculty to recognize that each student is an individual with an innate urge to succeed. While some faculty may believe they create a caring environment, literature shows that students may not perceive the environment or the faculty as caring. These are nuances to caring that include being specific and understanding a student's background. While this can be very difficult in an online course across transactional distance, we can use what information we have to learn. We can use the information we have to learn about our students so we can institute practices that demonstrate care and translate into caring student engagement. So faculty who embody pedagogical caring embrace inclusive environments and understand that each student in their course comes from a different educational background that could be drastically different from the instructors. Therefore, taking the time to learn about students from the beginning is important. In online courses, this can be done through exporting a spreadsheet of students' names and majors from the learning management system. As students post their introductions, taking notes of what they say about their histories will help us place each student within the context of their learning. Likewise, the spreadsheet can be a place where faculty keep notes about students' progress or academic bids that help us understand where they struggle in the course. It is possible to support students' academic development without feeling as though one is hand-holding. Therefore, consider how the conversation can be shifted to using caring as a persistence initiative instead of as hand-holding. A dive into the literature shows that building the teaching and learning cycle upon a pedagogy of care in higher education plays a role in students' persistence to graduation. By incorporating a pedagogy of caring into our adult education classroom, faculty remind students that they understand that students come ready to learn, but also have lives outside of the course, and faculty can support problem solving with course-based challenges. However, faculty must also understand that if students have been out of school for some time or in the midst of a career change, the key support services offered by the university may be part of a hidden curriculum for students. A pedagogy of caring is attentive to this and includes uncovering this hidden curriculum while providing feedback. So, a pedagogy of care plays a role in student success, demonstrates a relationship of being cared for and a cared for relationship, creates an inherent need to do what is right to support students, promotes student engagement, responds to students' needs, understands that students have lives outside of class, and includes frequent and positive feedback that underscores a desire for success. Think about your feedback. Does it point students toward the goals, or does it provide general advice? Is the feedback positive and provide just-in-time continued teaching to push the student forward? Can the student read and learn from your feedback, either about what they did well or their areas of opportunity? If we think of students' work as academic bids, how can that change our perspective? Within a pedagogy of caring, faculty can consider questions from students and submitted assignments as academic bids. Think back to the instructor you had who missed opportunities for connection that could have tied directly to academic improvement. Did this faculty miss an opportunity to provide support? What did the academic bid look like? Were the academic bids overt by sharing confusion? Were the academic bids presented through work that was not done well due to confusions or misunderstanding? What do academic bids look like from students seeking support from you? How did you feel when there was not a response? Did you disengage from the course? Did you disengage from the instructor? How did perceptively ignored academic bids impact your performance in that particular class? By reframing our engagement with students as attending to academic bids for connection and support, faculty can turn the corner to provide feedback. Have you received emails from students asking for extensions on assignments? Has a student poured out a bit of their life story for you and you could not quite understand why? Have you wondered why their life history became a part of their academic story? Take a moment to reflect on the possibility that your student was putting out an academic bid for connection or attention. This becomes the perfect time to engage in a pedagogy of care. This does not mean that faculty become counselors. Most faculty are not trained counselors. However, this can indicate that the adult student has a problem that they're not quite sure how to solve, and you are the person they send that academic bid to. Even self-directed and intrinsically motivated adult learners need to know that their faculty care about them as people. Likewise, if a student submits work that is not up to par or looks to have been done in a hurry, this could be an academic bid for more time or clarification. It could also be a bid to understand that life is unsettling at the moment for whatever reason. Our feedback to students in these instances can be within a pedagogy of care if we view these as academic bids or nuanced behaviors that seek care or attention. What attention might your students be seeking right now? If we think of assignments that students submit as academic bids within our instructor-student relationship, we can create frameworks for responses that provide responses built within a pedagogy of caring that supports a personal learning environment, while seeing assignments, discussions, quizzes, etc. as academic bids or communications from students that seek attention or caring. However, in this situation, the caring is done through pedagogically appropriate feedback. More so, we can think of the framework for our feedback as being nestled into the online learning capacity building framework. By providing feedback within a pause framework, we use student-submitted academic bids for feedback as pedagogically sound care and attention to help the online adult learner build self-efficacy, metacognitive skills, and self-help skills. Caring feedback helps the student understand what they did well by offering positive feedback, but then takes the next step to offer applicable, understandable, and specific feedback. This feedback should come from a place of having a personal learning environment. It is very easy to grade work by thinking of the information as just one more assignment submission. But stopping to think about that student within their context provides a different approach to caring feedback. Creating a personal learning environment from which to grade students' work means that we have attended to the students' introductions, emails, and other information students may have given us. I use an Excel spreadsheet to keep notes about what students tell me. That way, when I'm grading their work, I'm thinking of the student who has just returned from field duty, or likely having a very busy weekend before leaving for military duty, or thinking about my student who is going through a divorce, becoming a single parent, and who just needs to move. I can also think about the student who is taking the course again, but we've updated the course since they last took it, so I need to provide feedback reminding them that some of the tasks have changed. Providing specific, applicable, and understanding feedback within this contextual personal learning environment lays a cloak of care over what I'm doing. It reminds me to slow down and see the assignment submission not as a one-off assignment submission, but as work submitted by a newly single parent juggling kids, work, and legal issues, or an assignment submitted by the military student who is just back from drill weekend, or the assignment that was done between caring for kids and running aging parents to doctor's appointments. The contextual lives of my students reframes assignment submissions as academic bids within a personal learning environment, using pause to position myself within a cognitive and caring box that is needed for each specific student while grading their work. Of course, once we have provided praise, applicable, understandable, and specific feedback, our students need a healthy dose of encouragement. Don't we all? Think about the encouragement you need in a day, and then remind yourself of being an online student who has to put their work in a corner until they have a moment. If we encourage them through reminding them they are doing hard work and that they are the heroes without capes, and that we cannot wait to see them at graduation, could that piece of encouragement be what is needed that day? It is so easy to give feedback that highlights areas of opportunity, what students have done wrong. I have to remind myself that my students also need feedback that will encourage them to open the computer the next day, or to sit at their corner desk for a little bit longer, or to sit at the table with their kids while their kids are doing homework so they can do their own homework. To avoid a pause in persistence, consider how we can pause for feedback within a pedagogy of care. Consider your feedback now as contextually based on students, their context, the course content, and the objectives that need tackled. As you move forward, I encourage you to consider your students' work as academic bids for feedback that provides praise and encouragement while also providing specific, applicable, and understandable feedback meant to help them avoid a pause in persistence. Thank you so much for your time and for joining me today. If you would like to continue this conversation, I am happy to do so. Please feel free to reach out, and I would love to chat more.